Hello and welcome to tutorial 215. In this tutorial we draw a standard MACD graph, which is pretty much exactly the same as the standard, although it doesn't have the extra things the standard MACD has in terms of being used with Radarscreen. And the other thing it has, rather than using the standard colors, it uses color objects, which we'll look at in a moment. But the idea behind it is a horizontal line is drawn on the chart using the drawing tools, and if the MACD, which is this sort of salmon color here, crosses that line, then you'll get an alert. You'll also get some information here in the print log. So let's have a look at the program and I'll just talk through it. So first of all, in terms of the MACD calculation, you can see the calculation here and then the plots here. The only difference being we're using this legacy color from color object method to convert a color object color into the color that can be used with plot 1, plot 2 and plot 3. And in plot 3 we're changing the color of the value in terms of whether the line is over the zero line or below it. So let me just show you that method briefly. Okay, this is the method here, legacy color from color object, and we've got two variables, color integer, color temporary color, and we're doing that by using the temp color is the color from the color string, and then we're converting that into an integer using this RGB, and we've got the three components, the RG and the B, and that's been used to create this color integer. Now, because we're drawing the line on the chart, so let me just show you what I mean by that. I'm just going to delete this line here, and I'm just going to go to the drawing and horizontal line. I'm going to draw that on the chart. Then we've stored the value of what level that line is at, but the program needs to somehow know that the line has been drawn. So let me go through that. We're doing that using the charting host. If we go to the one statement, you can see where we set up the charting host. If you're not quite sure how to set up any syntax such as charting host, what you can do is go to Toolbox, double click on charting host, which I'll do, and then if you go to the charting host properties, if you look at the events, you can see which events are available. And by double clicking, for example, chart element click in this area here, you'll get an event that you can use, so that, in other words, when a chart element is clicked, then this method will run and the things within here will occur. But I'm going to just remove that because we're not going to be using that. What I've done is, in my case, copied the syntax into the program. So we've got our charting host. We've set up several events, the element selected and pre-delete event. What we also do when we first run the program is we scrape the drawing object. So this is a method that I've written, and what this does, here we have it here, method void scrape drawing objects. It uses the drawing object.items and as type of vector to store the values of that into a vector. We've created a vector called drawing object refs, and you'll see here we've used 11. Now 11 means that it is a horizontal line created by a drawing object. There are many others available, as you'll see here. I've included a listing, but we're just using the drawing object line created by using the drawing tools in our program. And having done that, what we say is if the count of the drawing objects is greater than 0, in other words, we do have a drawing object on the chart, then we store into hline the drawing object references. In other words, this is a vector of all horizontal lines. We're going to store that into, we're going to say a horizontal line is equal to the first value in that vector as type horizontal line. We're also going to change the colors. So what I've done is had a color from name line color, and you'll see this case the standard is fuchsia. So in other words, when the line is drawn, and it first appears on the chart. We change the color to fuchsia, we change the weight, we show any labels that are there. I don't think we have any. And we also set a tag saying active. And then what I've done is set up some events to do with the horizontal line. In other words, when that line is clicked, when it's moved, or when it's moving. And again, you might not be sure of the syntax of that. So if you were doing this from scratch, what you can do is go to the toolbox, find horizontal line, click on it, and then go to here again, the events. And by clicking on any one of these, you can set up an event. Again, I've already done that. I don't need to do it again, but that's just a way of getting that syntax. So when we looked at the chart earlier, you'll notice when I select the line to move it, the color changes, and then it goes back to the fuchsia color. And that's something that I changed. So the way that I've done that is if we go down to the events, you'll see that if the line is moving, we set the color to cyan. When it's moved, we go back to the line color, which is fuchsia. And then I've just included this horizontal line click just for completeness, but we're not actually using that functionality in the program. And then the final thing is we actually have to check if the MACD val crosses the H line dot price. So what I've done here is first of all check that we do have a horizontal line, that the horizontal tag is set to active, and it's the last bar on chart. And then we're just using the standard syntax that if something crosses above the line H line price, then we alert and we print. If it crosses below hline.price, then we also alert and print other messages. In fact, one thing I don't think I mentioned was with the charting host, we have the value when it's added to the chart, when it's selected, but we also have the pre-delete event, pre-delete element. And if we go to the event associated with that, which is right here, you'll see that we clear the drawing object reference, which is the vector. We change the tag to inactive, and then we delete the horizontal line as the drawing object delete horizontal line. So I think that is everything. If you have any questions or if you spot any problems, then please send me an email. Also, you might be interested to join the Markplex email list, and also perhaps join GoldPass. And incidentally, this code, you're very welcome to look through it. I didn't mention the namespaces here at the top, to retype the program and use it as a learning experience. Very welcome to do that. I'll also make the program available for a small fee at markplex.com. So thank you very much.